two ladies are here on a personal photography shoot of some sort. There's a ceremonial drum which looks rather old and authentic. And there's a ceremonial drum. Along the side here, as with most temples, are the residences and classrooms, if necessary, for the monks who live and maintain this old temple. Very peaceful and quiet back here. An area I suspect that few people wander back into unless they are monks. Probably a place intended for reverential contemplation. But here, a ceramic incense burner. The motifs down here on the bottom just appear to be floral. But above is a depiction of a lion. It's interesting how the upper part of this portrays a classic wooden building, including the Duo Gang, I think this is called, or Duo Gua, which is that architectural structure for cantilevering the roofs out over the walls so far. This may be just like the symbol to the left that I'll show you in a moment, although this is on a very elaborate original, looks like, holder for that device. Or it could be a drum clanger, I'm not sure. But here's a newer one and a little bit more dramatic because of its color. For some reason this color, surrounded by the gray shadowed cement stone and brick, seems interesting. Just this little vignette, actually. Here they're apparently preparing for a repair job. I'd love to see them put that new layering on, because it's a very thin layering. This is a large, lovely planter bowl, probably made of cement and carved, but pretty nonetheless. It does look like it's solid something or other. Sitting on two pedestals. I suspect this was done just because it looks pretty. Perhaps leaves that either came off of or fell off of these bushes, or plants went into there. This is a very pastoral garden area, if you will, courtyard for these buildings. Guess the monks aren't above eating. Looks like a tomato plant. Very impressive incense burner. Heavy brass, it looks like. And a pretty little, what we would call a bird bath, and perhaps that's what its function is. Just three small panels of flowers that I'll show you. And here a panel, but on either side, it looks like what might be fruit. Typical Chinese painting. I just keep wandering backward into this, deeper and deeper, farther away from where any tourists would go, although other than the two women there don't appear to be any. And they're here for a mission. Some old furniture, it looks like, but not totally abandoned back in here. And this is always pretty, the circular entryway. surprised we don't incorporate that more ourselves. This is a very large and impressive building, 2-story, of course. Very quiet back here. Only the photographers. Some of the detail on the door. Simple use of tiles, curved tiles, to make an interesting design. And here an even different design using the same devices. This is a simple but interesting piece. It's a piece of perhaps man-made, looks like composite stone. Embedded in this planter as though it were a plant and sitting on a pedestal as a wall piece. Inside I can hear people talking, so probably monks and their students. There's some small vignettes on these timbers, tools of a scribe perhaps. A pretty scene, 2 kayakers. And then this looks like pots on a book or something like that. A little look at his edge there, not bad. Outside the temple is a very, very pretty park, which is befitting that. And a wonderful place for people to just sit and relax. Not to mention the old folks who get to play their obligatory game of cards. Just realized and saw what the use of these things is. When you have your lock on it, you can collapse it and then drive over it to park. I think we're starting on the left side here, I'm guessing. And this is the layout of it. Oldest and largest mosque in Beijing, and one of the famous mosques in the world, built in 996 AD, actually same time that the last temple we were in was built. This suggests that it's Chinese in design, but also has Arabic and Chinese royal palace overtones to it. And they're through looking for any evidence that it's different than the Chinese in design and so forth. So far it looks totally like that. The irony is that the Chinese overtones and structure make the mosque far more beautiful than most mosques I've seen, which are amazingly simple on the inside. Except I think for a blue mosque that I saw in Poland. I'm reluctant to go in, although I probably can. I just don't feel that's respectful. But this will take us in there. Of course, I could have read this sign first. That would have made it a little less iffy. This Chinese structured building is called a minaret. Have yet to see much in the way of Muslim features. I thought these might have been attached like Christmas bulbs, but it appears that they're really whatever they are. I believe this is where they wash themselves to prepare themselves for holy endeavors. Of course, here an opportunity for some Arabic, and I have been able to say Salam Alaikum to a few people sitting about with Muslim hats on and get a response, but it goes no further. In all, quite barren, very typical of a Muslim mosque, even if it is in the Chinese mode. And if you thought one was great, look at this. First time I've seen this kind of thing before. There's always one guy that has to be doing something different. Something cute just happened as I was walking out. A fellow who's had a Muslim hat on, had 3 women who had their burqa headpieces on, thought he'd be kind of cute with me as he walked in and kind of maybe embarrassed me a little bit. He said something, salam alaikum, to me, and I just looked at him, salam alaikum, right back like that, and the ladies recognized that he'd been had. But it's a startling depiction, whatever it is. Could also be that bird, can't remember its name, starts with a C, that goes on the corner of temples to put out fires. Another view of the park that was in front of the Fayuan Temple.